Welcome back to another video. Before we start, could you guys all hit the like button down below? And if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button as well to help us grow this channel. Today, we'll be looking at the differences between the TFSA and the RRSP account. Both of these accounts are available in Canada and are great vehicles to help grow your wealth. Before we dive deeper into this video, please note that this video is only for entertainment purposes. Please do not solely rely on all the information that I'm providing in this video, and please do consult with your CPA to see which account is right for you. Okay, so let's start off by looking at the TFSA. The TFSA, which stands for Tax-Free Savings Account, is an account that's available to all Canadians that are 18 and older. You can save and invest in a TFSA account without paying any tax, and this money can be put into stocks, index funds, mutual funds, and bonds. All the capital gain, interest, and dividends that you receive will be tax-free on withdrawal. But one thing you do need to know, and it seems like not a lot of people are discussing this, dividends that are received from U.S. corporations, there is tax withheld on those dividends. So if you see a deduction from, let's say you have Apple and they pay a dividend, and you see a deduction that comes on those dividends, that is your financial institution withholding tax for the U.S. government. The contributions that you make to the TFSA account are non-tax deductible, which means you cannot reduce your taxable liability on your tax return. Also, the contribution limit for the TFSA is set by the government each year. Usually, the government will try to adjust for inflation and increase the contribution amount every single year. Any amount that you do not contribute in the current year can be carried forward to the next year, and your contribution limit starts at the age that you turn 18. So let's run through an example of what I mean. The contribution limit can get a little confusing, so an example would help in this case. In this example, I'll use myself. I turned 18 in 2016. And in 2016, the contribution limit for that year was $5,500. So let's say I don't invest money in that year into my TFSA account. In the following year, 2017, when I turned 19, the contribution limit was another $5,500. So if I hadn't invested any money in 2016, and in 2017 I decided to invest, now I have a total contribution limit of $11,000. One thing you do need to know about your contribution limit is always keep tabs on how much you've invested, because there are penalties for over contributing to your TFSA account. Currently, if there's an excess amount of contribution to your TFSA account, you're looking at 1% penalty per month for the amount that is more than your contribution limit. The only way that you can stop these 1% penalties is by either withdrawing the excess amount or waiting until next year when your contribution limit has increased. So that was the overview of the TFSA. Now let's look at the RRSP account. The RRSP account, which stands for Registered Retirement Savings Plan, which is a tax-advantaged investment account available to Canadians. The contributions that you make to the RRSP account are tax deductible on your personal tax return, which means whatever money you put into your RRSP account, you can reduce your income by on your current year tax return, and thus reducing your taxable liability and even potentially putting you in a refundable position. The investments that you have in your RRSP are the same as the TFSA. You can get stocks, index funds, mutual funds, bonds, and any of the dividends, capital gain, and interest that you receive will not be taxed on the account. So you could, as same as the TFSA, you could buy and sell your investments on a capital gain and keep that capital gain in the account and reinvest into another stock or index fund. However, when you withdraw the amount, you'll be taxed as income on your account. Also, if you withdraw money before the age of 71 from your RRSP account, your financial institution is required to withhold money from your withdrawal. So make sure that you adjust your withdrawal for this withholding amount. But there are two ways where you can pull out money from the RRSP account without triggering any tax. And these two ways are either you're buying a personal home, so a home for you and your family, or you're trying to further your education. When you pull out this money, you can use these towards purchasing your home or your education, but you have to pay back this amount within 15 years. So now we're going to get into the little tricky part of the RRSP account. It's the contribution limit. The limit is the less of 18% of your income in the prior year or the annual limit set by the government. And any amount that you haven't used can carry forward to the next year. And any money that you do withdraw, that contribution is lost forever. So I will take you through an example because the contribution limit for the RRSP accounts can get a little confusing. So let's say that in 2023, so last year, I had an income of $70,000. So the $70,000, of that, 18% can be my contribution limit for 2024. So $70,000 times 18% would mean that one of the contribution limits can be $12,600. And the annual limit set by the government for 2024 is $31,560. If you put these incomes side by side, you would see that the $70,000 income times 18% would be $12,600, which is lower than the annual contribution limit set by the government of $31,560. So for 2024, I can only contribute $12,600. The one thing you do need to know is you have to keep tabs on your contribution limit. And this is a lot of people fall into this issue where individuals will over-contribute, and most people do get excited that you get to take a tax deduction on your return. And if you do over-contribute by $2,000, you're going to get hit with a 1% per month penalty. And this amount can be steep if you have really overinvested. So make sure you haven't. And the only way to get out of this is you either withdraw amount that is excess to your contribution, or you wait till next year when your contribution limit increases. So now that you have an overall idea of the TFSA and the RRSP account, let's talk about the differences, and this is what you really want to zone in on. So the initial tax treatment of your contribution. So the RRSP, when you contribute to this account, any amount that you contribute can be deducted on your tax return. This is great so that you can reduce your taxable liability and even put yourself in a refundable position if that's what you can get to. Now, whereas the TFSA, any amount that you contribute cannot be tax deducted. It would be your after-tax money that you're contributing to this account. Now let's look at the contribution limit. The RRSP can get a bit confusing with the contribution limits because it will be the less of your income in the prior year times 18% or the annual limit that is set by the government. Whereas the TFSA, the annual limit is really set by the government and it's the same for everyone as long as they are older than 18 years of age. However, in the case of the RRSP and TFSA, make sure you're keeping track of how much you're really contributing to the account because a lot of people do get dinged with that 1% monthly tax. Now let's look at the withdrawal rules. This is when both accounts differ, just like the initial tax treatment. When you withdraw money from a RRSP account, any capital gains that you had, dividends, income, all of that will be taxed as income upon withdrawal. Doesn't mean you have to withdraw all of it at once. You can withdraw as you need, but when you do withdraw, it is taxed as income. Also, if you withdraw before the age of 71, your financial institution will be required to withhold tax on your withdrawal. However, there are two ways that you can withdraw money from your RRSP account without it being taxed. And that is if you're going to use that money to purchase a home for you and your family, or if you're trying to further your education. But like I said before, this amount that you pull out will be required to be paid back. And there are restrictions on how much money you can pull out for each, for the education or when you're buying a home. Now, looking at the TFSA account, the withdrawals have no tax. So that means you can make $5–10 million on your investments. But whenever you're ready to pull the money out, it doesn't matter how much or how little you pull out at that time, it is all tax-free. Now, this takes me to the next step, which is the purpose of these accounts. RRSP accounts were primarily designed to help Canadians with their retirement. So if you have pension or you have other investments such as real estate, the RRSP account really help you to supplement your income so that you can live comfortably when you retire. Now, looking at the TFSA account doesn't have to be a retirement account. It can be for a retirement, but it could be for your short-term or your long-term goals. A lot of individuals will use the TFSA account to potentially purchase a home in the future, for further education, potential cars that they want to buy. I know people that want to buy luxury cars down the road, but they don't want to spend that money right now. So they put it aside in their TFSA into investments that are safe and that will give them dividends or interest. making it more flexible to withdraw money from your TFSA versus when you're comparing to the RRSP account. The RRSP account and TFSA account really come down to your personal choice, your income, and really your financial goals. I personally believe that all Canadians should have a TFSA account and an RRSP account to help them optimize and create great investment strategies for their retirement and their future goals. This is where I would say it's worth investing into a good CPA, which will help you become wealthier and live a comfortable life in the future. I really hope this video really got you guys thinking on how you would like to use these accounts in the future to become wealthier and live a comfortable life. I truly do believe every Canadian should be taking advantage of both of these accounts. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video and this got you really thinking about how you want to use these accounts. If you guys like this video, please hit the like button down below to help grow the channel, and please stay tuned for upcoming videos. And remember, until next time, remember to keep investing.